Imagine walking through a city at noon, but you can't see a thing. You're stumbling around, arms out, groping for a wall like you've been blindfolded. Everyone around you is growling like bears or moaning like doves. It sounds like a horror movie, doesn't it?
It does, but it's actually a profound diagnosis of the human condition from the text we're looking at today. It's that feeling when a society completely loses its moral compass. We're diving into a section of Isaiah, specifically chapters 59 through 63, and let me tell you, it is a roller coaster of cosmic proportions.
It really is. I was struck by how it starts. It addresses this complaint people have, that feeling of, where is God? Is his arm too short to reach us? Are his ears broken?
Exactly, and the text hits back hard. It says, no, the signal isn't broken on God's end, you've just cut the wire. It uses this incredible imagery of people hatching viper eggs and weaving spider webs. It's saying that people are exhausting themselves building systems, webs of lies and violence that are ultimately useless. You can't make clothes out of a spider web. It won't cover you.
That image stuck with me. The idea that we are busy but busy creating things that eventually bite us. So, the society described here is broken. Justice is driven backward. Truth has literally tripped and fallen in the street. So, what happens when nobody steps up to fix it?
That's the turning point. The text says, God looks around, stunned that there is no intercessor, no one to stand in the gap. So, he decides to handle it personally. And this is where it gets cinematic. We see God suiting up.
Like a soldier?
Like a divine warrior, he puts on righteousness like a breastplate, a helmet of salvation, and wraps himself in zeal. It's terrifying but also hopeful. If humanity can't save itself, the Creator steps into history to do the heavy lifting. But just when you think it's going to be a war story, the tone shifts completely in the next chapter.
Right. Suddenly the lights turn on. Arise, shine, for your light has come.
It's the ultimate contrast. 1 minute you're groping in the dark, the next, the glory of the Lord rises like a sunrise. And it's not just a spiritual light, it's attractive. The text describes nations and kings bringing their wealth, gold, frankincense, flooding into this restored city.
It sounds like a total reversal of fortune. The city that was hated and deserted becomes an eternal excellency. But I want to dig into how this restoration happens. It's not just about gold and camels coming in. There's a specific figure introduced in chapter 61.
The Anointed One. This is the heart of the restoration. The speaker says the Spirit of the Lord is on him to preach good news to the poor and bind up the brokenhearted.
Beauty for ashes. I love that phrase.
It's profound. It's an exchange. You give him your grief and the wreckage of your life, the ashes, and he gives you a crown of beauty. It's a complete identity shift. You go from being a captive to being a tree of righteousness. It suggests that true restoration isn't just fixing the walls of the city, it's fixing the souls of the people.
But here's the tension I felt reading this. We have this beautiful promise of healing, but then later, in chapter 63, we're back to this intense, almost violent imagery, a figure coming from Edom with red-stained garments.
It is jarring, isn't it? It asks, why are your clothes red? And the answer is, I've trodden the winepress alone. It's a metaphor for judgment. It reminds us that you can't have a perfect, safe city without dealing with the evil that destroys it. The day of vengeance and the year of redemption happen simultaneously.
So to save the victim, the oppressor has to be stopped.
Precisely. It's the two sides of the coin. God is the healer binding wounds, but he's also the warrior crushing injustice. You can't have one without the other if you want true peace.
And yet, the text ends on a very vulnerable note. It doesn't end with a victory parade. It ends with a prayer.
A desperate prayer. The people are looking at their history, how God saved them in the days of Moses, led them through the sea like a horse in the desert so they wouldn't stumble. And they ask, where is that zeal now? They basically say, you are our Father, even if everyone else disowns us. Don't let our hearts get hard.
It feels like they are acknowledging their inability to fix themselves. They need the warrior and the healer to return.
It leaves us with this longing. We've seen the vision of the light. We know the promise of the new name God wants to give us. He calls the land married instead of desolate, but we still have to walk through the process.
It's a powerful reminder. We look for light, but sometimes we have to acknowledge the darkness first to appreciate when the dawn finally breaks.
And the promise is that the dawn will break. The sun won't go down anymore because the Lord himself becomes the everlasting light.
A permanent shift from darkness to glory. That is certainly something worth waiting for. Thanks for breaking this down with me today.
My pleasure. It's a heavy text, but a hopeful one. If you have been blessed by this, please like, subscribe, and share this joy with others. God bless.